'cause I'm a dancing man, and I just can't lose. You know it's alright, it's okay. On the Dixie another day, we can try to understand the New York Times effect on man. Whether you're a brother or whether you're a mother, you stay in the light, stay in the light. Feel the city breaking up, everybody shaking, I'ma stay in the light, stay in the light. Stay in the light, stay in the light. Stay in the light.
That is my work.
In the movie Erin Brockovich, Julia Roberts played the tough and relentless paralegal who brought PG&E, Pacific Gas and Electric, to its knees. One memorable scene, Brockovich fighting PG&E lawyers to compensate her clients, the residents of Hinckley, California.
I want you to think real hard about what your spine is worth, Mr. Walker, or what you might expect someone to pay you for your uterus, Miss Sanchez. Then you take out your calculator and you multiply that number by 100. Anything less than that is a waste of our time.
PG&E eventually wrote checks totaling $333 million to more than 600 residents.
So they come to you and they say $333 million, and you were like,
holy shit. I mean, you know, I mean, it's pretty cool. I was excited for these people.
13 years later, the excitement is now replaced with fear. Recent evidence indicates the same underground chemical plume that caused so much illness and heartbreak here is growing.
And I'm thinking somebody somewhere has been asleep at the wheel.
after an enormous settlement and the worldwide attention that came with a Hollywood film, people who live here thought their problems would have ended a long time ago. But it turns out those toxic chemicals have been spreading over time.
That's a finding by the State Water Control Board. Brockovich puts the blame squarely on PG&E.
This is a company that has great technology. They certainly have the money. You can't control this plume here in Hinckley after everything that's happened. It makes no sense to me.
The plume is 2 miles long and nearly a mile wide. It's made up of hexavalent chromium, a chemical once used by PG&E in the 50s and 60s to prevent rust in the machinery at a nearby plant. It's the same chemical that seeped into the groundwater here and can cause life-threatening illnesses. Roberta Walker received an undisclosed amount of money in the settlement for illnesses she blames on the contamination.
I've had several stomach surgeries. I've had a hysterectomy. I've had several lumps removed from my breast, and I've got asthma now.
So when Walker learned the hex chromium is now moving towards the very home she moved to get away from the danger, she naturally thought,
oh my God, it's like being struck by lightning twice. You know, it's like, how can this possibly be happening to me again? It's like a cancer.
PG&E says great strides have been made in cleaning up the contamination. So how could this happen after everything the community endured? A top company official agreed to meet with us at its San Francisco headquarters.
These people, they're concerned about their water. They're concerned about their way of life. Are those concerns justified?
The approach that we're taking with the residents in Hinckley is we're committed to working with those individuals that live in Hinckley, either directly over the plume or in the adjacent vicinity to the plume.
The utility denies it's been asleep at the wheel and says it's difficult to contain the chemical, but also says it has a comprehensive plan to do so, including pumping in more than 100,000 gallons of fresh water each day into the underground plume to block the contaminants from advancing. It says the water quality on or near the plume meets safety guidelines set by the state of California. But with growing unrest, not to mention bad PR, the utility, as of last week, took the momentous step of offering to buy all the properties of those affected. We're told it could be as many as 100 homes.
You can look at residents in the eye and tell them that if they're near this plume or on the plume, you'll buy their house?
Yes, really and truly, what really matters is what the residents think. And so if the residents feel that you need to do more, if they have health concerns, then what we've got to do is we have to do more, and we have to be committed to addressing those concerns.
Whether that will be enough to stem rising anxiety remains to be seen.
Do you see a second lawsuit here?
That I don't know yet. I wish, and I don't want to see lawsuits in this instance being the solution. It's going to do nobody any good to drag them through the mud again for 5 years. What I do want to see is a company take accountability for what they've done, come out here and make it right by these people.
PG&E promises it will. Brockovich and others will be watching. Dan Simon, CNN, Hinckley, California.
Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, folks on the internet, folks on YouTube, folks on Facebook, and the other 8 platforms we're streaming on tonight. Thank you for tuning in. I put a little bit more thought and effort into this episode today because I didn't feel like we actually covered what a Superfund site is. I mean, we had a great conversation and people were following along, but I felt like I wanted to go back and cover a few things. So if you were watching the Erin Brockovich clips, I wanted to lead into what happened. Like by September 2025 of last year, we finally got Erin Brockovich to respond. Well, Bree did a lot of late night emails and messages, and it was kind of funny because in one of them we made an Erin Brockovich like Batman signal and sent to her because she wasn't responding. And it was actually really cute. It was Bree's idea. And so we made it, and she would send her these messages. So finally, after, 2025, we started in October of 2024. And that was just with the PFAS at the city council meeting and Neil McKee telling us about it. And we have clips of that on the YouTube channel if anybody wants to see those. But almost a year later, we finally get Erin Brockovich to respond to us, and she agrees that there's something wrong with the water in Madison County. And this story right here is on the Erin Brockovich report. She says, who's in charge of the Madison County, of the water in Madison County, Indiana? The local officials fumble as residents raise concerns about the look of their water. So some of these, a lot of these were from Bree's home. And the weirdest thing when this started back in like the end of 24, end of 25, neither of us had brown water at that point. We had just seen the posts on Facebook. And so like the first, I mean, we'd already done the EPA stuff, but there was some journalists asking for raw footage, and we at the time didn't have it. And so it's like, be careful what you ask for, because within a short amount of time, we had water issues from the National Priority List Superfund site, Anderson at Broadway and Grand. In that area, people complain about the water. We got multiple areas of Anderson, and then LaPel gets hit with brown water. Alexandria got hit with brown water. That's been kind of a nightmare. It's all of it's a nightmare, really, because we're taught our whole life we got to trust certain things. And I'm grateful that we have water coming into our homes now, but we shouldn't. They just raised a whole bunch of stuff. So now it's like some people's bills have doubled, and we're still not getting what I feel like is quality water. And even if some people are getting good water, there's a lot of people around Anderson and in Madison County that aren't. So it's kind of hard to say whose issues are, whose and what's causing it, because it's a complex situation. Let's see. But over here on this article with Bree, this story comes from the town of LaPel. And they were trying to ask questions at their council meetings, and we're getting nowhere, just like we get over here in Anderson and at county council. But, because of Bree she found the National Priority Superfund site, pointed it out to everybody else. So just interesting how it's all played out since. And no, she's not making the story up. This is literally happening to us now. My situation's a little different because I'm closer to Mountain State Park, but I'm on the river. So we learned a lot in the last year or so. And so Bree's stories on this website. I don't know what device you're looking at, but young mom. And she first had issues over in Delville at a trailer park, and that's why she moved to LaPel. And then for all this to kind of start happening over in LaPel was just mind-boggling. But she helped point out the Superfund sites, okay, and the brownfields. So it's kind of interesting how the topics that have been this 2026 season, like pretty much opening up, it went from, okay, we're going to raise your water. Nobody mentioned anything about sewage and electric. And then all of a sudden they get the IURC and those guys to allow the water rate hikes by the end of last year. And then they turn around and then they want the electric and the sewage. And I'm not opposed to infrastructure. I'm concerned about the transparency of what's really going on, and some of the storyline that they're giving us, and what the actual reality is on ground and at some of these people's houses are two different things. So anyway, this is a really good article for anyone interested in reading it. It shows the town council that Aaron Brockovich actually watched and gleaned, and then finally responded to. And then she does mention in this article something about the MPL. Okay, but the moral of the story with Erin was she told us that Superman's not coming. And that hit home because that was the moment. And it's kind of emotional because my mom passed away from water and then contracting an incurable disease from groundwater contamination in the 1960s. So this entire story all the way around hits home for me. So with that being said, I got that. So the next stuff. So what happened today, I was pre-recording a bunch of stuff, and it's you start out looking for one thing and then you discover something else. And that's how I kind of realized I didn't put enough information into the last video. So tonight I wanted to kind of go back, show some of the stuff that I found in the last, I think 48 hours, the maps. So for instance, what triggered us this week to even go into detail was Plant 7 debate at the Anderson Redevelopment Commission. Okay. So right here is Plant 7. Teresa Smock gets credit for this find. I didn't realize there is a reel that I showed the other night from the ground. I think I played it, but it's of me at pretty much ground zero right in here. I now realize it's some type of sewage exchange something, but there's definitely there's definitely something going on in this area over here. And then I hear Greg Winkler mention something about a plume. Okay. The plume and the fish kill. Here is a document that I found that really makes me wonder how deep this rabbit hole truly goes. And it kind of points all the way back to the combined sewage outfalls that run along the river, which, let me show you a picture of that. Let's see. Okay, here's this one. I'm going to go back to the other. So this is a map of the combined sewage outfalls that are causing some of the problems. This is CSO 25, Irondale, Pittsford's Ditch. This is where my mom got sick, so I'm connected like to this story. It's like on my trauma calendar. So believe me, this has affected my family already, and I'm just raising alarms so it doesn't happen to other people, especially now that they want to do the athletic park build, which the Superfund site MPL is right here at Broadway and Grand, and the Wheeler water plant is right here. Okay, so the Superfund site just seems like it keeps getting bigger and bigger. So it's like 1 to 5 miles out around here, 1 to 5 miles out around here, and then we find out that there's a plume coming from this direction. Okay, because this is Scatterfield and Mounds Road, Purdue, Italopolina, Pittsford's Ditch is coming right down here into CSO 25. So anyway, if there's a plume in here, this is the first time that we've heard that there was a plume outside of the one down here by the MPLs. And Bree wanted me to make sure to tell everybody that the other site, the MPL site, can technically be considered 3 different plumes. And I'm going to show here in a little bit the mapping that shows where those 3 plumes are possibly at. And then in comparison to the plume that we were recently told about down by Plant 7. So this here's the fish kill. Okay, but this is the Indiana or the US DOJ Department of Justice .gov. U.S. Indiana reach environmental agreements with Guide Corps for fish kill on the White River. Okay, now, do I have my map? I did find some maps today. Where did I put them? Okay, I'm going to have to circle back to that, because where that location is, okay, let me go to this map real quick. Let's do this, because this one shows an area. So this is the in.gov map I found today, and it shows the Broadway and Grand. It doesn't show anything else, so I'm assuming they're just considering this one a hot item, okay? But it's still upstream from these anchor parks down here and the Anderson wastewater treatment plants right here. So the fish kill, from my understanding, happened over here at Guide. Okay, let me pull this up a little bit. Okay. Now, here's the MPL site. Here's General Motors Plant 7. Here's Guide Corps. Guide Corps is supposedly where the 90s fish kill originated. And there's all kinds of documents. I just showed you the one with the DOJ. It goes here to the Anderson wastewater treatment plant, and something in December of 1999 was broken. So their chlorine filtration system, or whatever they do with the sewage, their machines were broke down. Okay, so it dumps into the river, one of the largest environmental disasters in Madison County. Killed so many fish. So when they refer to the fish kill in this location, it makes me wonder if this just has to do with the CSO 25 and stuff was either getting ready to dump out here, but okay, here. So CSO, okay, you see Pittsford's ditch is right here. Yeah. Okay, so Pittsford's ditch runs through this trailer park, goes through here, and comes out here. Okay. This is where the interceptor is. And it was pumping something out into the river this summer. That's why I had all them, I have all the videos from that on my YouTube channel. So we've been to this spot, and this was the spot I relayed the message to about the phosphorus. And thankfully, Ryan Pascal with the Anderson Sewage Department and a couple other members, I have to give David Ikes and them credit for that one. They gave us a daily load phosphorus limit. So now they're going to be checking for high levels of phosphorus this coming year. But anyway, so this is, like I was saying, this is Athletic Park. We don't really have, all we have is, let me see. We can't get anything from the city. So what I have is a 90-page document with some maps in it. Okay. So this is Ranny Well 1 by Shady Side Park. Okay. Right here. So Broadway Street, corridor groundwater contamination, Anderson, Madison County, Indiana. And this was in July 2014 to July 2015. And the impacted well results. So this one's easy to get to, or it's a little harder to get to than the other wells, but nonetheless, I was able to get back there and look at it. And this doesn't look bad. This one doesn't concern me, but what does concern me now is this big area around it, which I'm thinking they're considering this another type of plume over here, because they referenced 3 plumes being at the Grand Avenue site. So I don't know if you guys have really how much you've studied up on it, but this here is Frisch's Big Boy. Can you see my arrow? Okay. Hey, Teresa. So this here is Ranny Well 4 by Frisch's. Okay, this first one. That shows DCE, PCE, TCE, and VC. So TCE is the same thing that's coming out of the Plant 7 well, or the plume. I mean, the Plant 7 plume. It's something to do with the CAA, which is the Clean Air Act. Okay, there's so many different complexities, but I'm tracking, so I'm trying to explain these things to the public a little bit better, because we're not getting answers when we ask them. So another document we're getting ready to look at, this here could be considered two separate plumes. We have maps in the Anderson or the Madison County Water Watch group that shows a lot of the locations of the 22 Superfund sites in Anderson, in the 40 something in Madison County. We've tracked them and we have it in the group. But this one is getting ready to look like a split right here where White River is. But Ranny Well 5 is over here by Dossett's Garage. And that one concerned me more because it had active algae growing out of the side of it. And there was a algae bloom over here in August, September of last year. It was really gross. And there's reels on the page, and I do believe they're on my YouTube page. If you want to see those, just let me know and I can send those to you. But this one is by the homeless encampments. Okay, that's what kind of got me in this area to begin with in 2023, and I had no clue that this was even a water well in 2023, and I'm kind of upset about it because we were in here trying to clean up the trash. Now, it did cost the city taxpayers about $100,000+ to clean these areas because of all the trash and human feces back in here, and that's kind of why the homeless have kind of got themselves in trouble, because they're not cleaning their areas up, and then the people that go in and clean it up, it's a health risk and yada yada yada. So that's why my homeless hub idea would have worked. So okay, this is the topographic site location map, Broadway Street corridor, groundwater contamination, Anderson, Madison County, Indiana. So this gives the longitude and latitude. And item. Okay, so it's showing the site location. I'm not sure why it's showing all the red, unless that's the water. Something to do with the water, so I'm going to keep going. This one here concerns me because then it shows the split between the two that I was just talking about a minute ago. And then it shows this one up here has a big old area. And then it shows the wells where they're located. So I'm going to stop right here for a minute. I'm going to just pause and let you guys look at this, and then I'll carry on in a minute. Can you see it? Oh, Karen, there was a lot of homeless. I mean, some of the encampments were kind of cool. I mean, it's like human survival. I mean, survival of the fittest out there when you're homeless anyway. And so part of the property where they were at, if you look, you can't really tell. I wonder if it'll let me see how far it'll let me get. Okay. No. You can kind of tell right here. So this right here was where one of the big encampments was. Okay. And then where all these little blue points are, I believe, is where they tested. And we have the 500-page report to show what they tested, but there was at least 10 plus different encampments back in here that had to be cleaned up. Ranny Well is in the middle of these, which I don't know why. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 triangles. That's where one of our water wells is. And that's the one they're trying to shut down. But see, I'm going to zoom in. Can you see? Okay, let me go over. Okay, just pick through those, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So basically, where's this at? Okay, that's on the other side. Those triangles tested low. PCE, though, right there. TCE is the same thing they were talking about in the Plume 7 area. TCE, VC, I can't think of what it means right now. Yeah, that's a good one. I wish I could grow, but shoot, we don't even know what's in the water, that we're using to water with. And then you'd have to really have some type of water catch system to be able to grow without having to worry about different chemicals getting into our food. And then you definitely want to test the locations, because like I had no clue about the Superfund site until this year. And then I live by 2 down by Rangeline Road. They say they're cleaned up, but I mean, I can see when I do an aerial view down by Rangeline Nature Preserve, I just don't like the way the water looks. I mean, I don't like the way this water looks. That looks super green to me. Like there's so much algae growing in there, and which kind of algae is it? Because the stuff that was down here in the Superfund site area was nasty, and it made my skin burn. And then this water over here looks super colored. So I don't know what kind of algae this would be, but I think somebody needs to go test this water. I do believe someone sent us there's something, a house in here collapsed. I don't have the information in front of me. That's a Brianna Davis question. I have not thought, I have not, because I don't have the gear. I've been trying to push the EPA and IDEM and all them to come in with me and go down. I want to take them to certain sites and have them test it for me, because it's the sites I'm concerned with. And then the water samples, me, Catherine, Bree, and Lisa Summers all was collecting water there for a minute. And then the place where we were taking the water to get tested, they started getting mad at us. And because it's like we're giving them work, man. But I think it's because they did a lot of contractual work with the cities that we were like Alexandria, LaPel, and Anderson. So those are probably big paying contracts, and we're over here trying to figure out what's going on with our water. They didn't like that too much. So this map shows Ranny 5. So that little yellow dot in the middle of, I don't know, right here. Every time I go over it, my arrow moves. So I don't know what's up with that, but there's that. Was that mad hell, more than mad and involved? Oh man. there's so much information to this topic. That's why we started doing the side quest stuff, because I mean, we can talk about stuff all day long that we keep finding different topics. So yeah, and it stretches, because if you think about it, okay, like for instance here, what I've tracked on the Google map, I don't know if you want me to track it. I kind of have fun doing the tracking, but let's stick to what I'm on so I don't get squirreled. But if you go on the Google Maps and you trace this up, you'll follow Killbuck Creek all the way out. But I do believe that all the way down Killbuck Creek, they have miscellaneous types of sewage outfalls or stormwater outfalls. So different spots down through here have different issues. But I like this map because it shows the different radiuses. Like what if, okay, I'm ex-military, so if I was sent into an area to try to locate a biochemical weapon of mass destruction, or like a site where they would be building this stuff, these would be our hot spots, right? And then the mile radius is how like if these things exploded, that's what they would hit. Or in this case, we're going to be looking at the polluters to our water wells are within these areas. And that's how far out it would be affected. See, now that is a good question. Okay. And just because you said that, I have another map I'm going to pull up here in a minute, because I haven't saw that, but what we captured on the site, like back in October, and it's on my YouTube page, my heads up one, the algae bloom was horrible on the Killbuck Creek side by Ranny 4. So that told us that something was with high levels of phosphorus was being put into the atmosphere, and then the algae was feeding off of it. So there's so many things going on there. But anyway, we didn't see the wide-eyed orange fish, but the area that I heard those were located, the weird-looking fish, are closer to let's see. Okay, can you see my arrow? No. Let me see. Can you see the arrow? It's not letting me see the arrow. So let's go to a different map here and see. Okay, let's do this one. Okay, so this is the CSO outfall. So combined sewage overflows. And it's the map for Indiana. So if any of our other friends from other counties are watching, you can go to your area in Indiana. And I'm thinking that you can go pretty much if you're tuning in from out of state trying to learn about Superfund sites, and you found this video podcast on YouTube or Facebook, then you should be able to type your stuff in and find information on like your state Department of Environmental Management, right? And then EPA, which I'll get into the EPA stuff here within the next 20 minutes, hopefully. So right now, what is this? Fish is meme. Ha ha ha, cute. You know what? Send it to me. So this one, we're going to zoom in. So the one, see, I'm down here, okay, on the river, right in here. So Rangeline Nature Preserve used to be a Superfund site. And the Rangeline Auto Parts used to be a Superfund site. And then the other one, the big one, is the Holiday Dump, was located right in here. But it actually took up like this whole area, okay? And then that's also right next to CSO 25. You can kind of see Pittsford's Ditch. Yeah, you can see it real good here. Pittsford's Ditch, okay? Now, okay, let's see. What are they saying? Nope. See, Now that's something I can complain about. Okay, so this says right here, CSO number. Okay, let me see if I can get it bigger. Okay, so I'm on the sidebar over here. This is Athletic Park. This is Edgewater Park in here. The interceptor supposedly goes all the way this way. I showed you CSO 26 right here, Liberty Christians right here, CSO 25 and Pittsford's Ditch are right here. Okay, I've been complaining about, oh, she's not in Indiana. Well, you can do this in your state too and find stuff. So this is how I've been teaching people how to find stuff on their own in their locations too. But this right here is not the right spot for CSO 25. CSO 25 is down here by Pittsford's Ditch. Okay. So I'm not understanding why they're not fixing that unless they've labeled this one CSO 25 now, which I don't know why you would change the number. So I'll have to go do another live from this location to show the sign that says number 25 on it is right here. Yeah, so there's that. But this is a good map too, and this one comes from the Indiana Department of Environmental Management. Let me see what this one is. So 21 would be over there by the they're in the parking lot. So the Blue Bridge is right here. Oh, and then Wheeler Water Treatment Plant is right in this area, and that's Superfund site. So I mean, the main NPL is down here, and then it would stretch this area down to here. Just what we have documented, which this right here is a athletic park is right in the middle of that zone, in my opinion. And then now add whatever plume is over in this area because of plant 7 being right here and pushing whatever, what do you say, VCs, or no, TCE. It's a gas plume of some sort. He tried to say that it hadn't touched our water yet. I have to disagree with that. Let me see if I can find it. So let's go back to that area so you guys can see what we're talking about there in case you don't know or wasn't paying attention the other day. Let's see. Okay, plant 7. We supposedly got a plume over here. And this is Scatterfield Road right here. Plant 18 is right here. So really, this site is supposedly, from what we found in the archive list, let's see if we can find it again. Well, I know what we can do. Here is all the documents I keep telling everybody about. I finally uploaded them to the Google Drive. Okay. Let's see. It's all of it. I wanted my spreadsheet. So bear with me. Okay. Okay. This is the spreadsheet. And the archive document that we stumbled upon. So, Archive Hazardous Waste Cleanup, Anderson Redevelopment Commission, Scatterfield Road site. Okay, so it's its own site. It's pretty big. But the other day, Greg was saying that it hadn't got to our, it hadn't really contaminated anything. But this document, this action concerned a land parcel in the northwestern corner of former Delphi Energy and Engine Management facility. It is now owned by the Anderson Redevelopment Commission. The area addressed is a former degreaser location, now demolished, Plant 7. So let's see. Right there. Plant 7. Okay, so what they're saying, and this is an EPA document, not me. I'm not saying it. This is what was archived. Okay, so I'm not sure what Greg Winkler's reading or what he was advising the Anderson redevelopment on, but the chemical trichloroethene was deeply embedded in soil at this location. Okay, once again, going to give you a visual. That's the location. It doesn't look like that now. Plant 7's gone. Italopolina's right here. I think there's a car lot right here. Amicor took over Plant 19 over here, and it's got some violations with the CAA, the Clean Air Act, which happens to be the same issue, Clean Air Act, that this one's dealing with. So it makes me wonder what exactly this guy's breaking over here. But anyway, it does, everything pushes. Oh, Brianna pointed out that Plant 20, Pittsford's Ditch, actually comes through this neighborhood right here, and Lowe's is now here in this area. So Pittsford's Ditch comes down and then goes this way down to this point. This is no longer there, just for reference. And so a plume of TCE in the groundwater. Wait, see, now this is what catches me. So now I realize, wrong screen. Back to this one. A plume of TCE in the groundwater had extended off-site beneath a commercial and residential area. See, when I read stuff like that, that confuses me, because I'm pretty sure he said that our groundwater wasn't contaminated with whatever this plume is. And then now this says a plume of TCE in the groundwater had extended off-site beneath a commercial and residential area. And then it goes on to say concentrations of TCE and its breakdown products are at levels which do not endanger human health and the environment. I don't know about you guys, but there's something going on over there. So this still concerns me either way, because we're not getting the information when we ask questions in public, and they should have been able to give this site to me. So then it goes on to say it hadn't been detected in the groundwater beneath the residential area, but that's why they're being monitored, because they still don't like the levels of it, and it's moving supposedly. I don't know. This is just so nuts, you guys. So it goes on to tell about the location, and it says General Motors. So General Motors was not mentioned in the actual website for the lawsuit. At least I couldn't find it. So anyway, if you guys are interested in going and checking out information for yourself, because I always encourage that. Don't take my word for it. Go try to prove me wrong, and then let me know what you find. And then if you bring me satisfactory information, I do change my mind sometimes. Okay, so Teresa has a question over here. How would I test my ground? That's a good question, because what I was trying to get towards when I said that the but the water place that we were taking all the water samples to was getting mad at us. So I don't know if you would want to take it to them, but if you were really concerned because you have, what did we talk about the other day? Okay, so this is the Superfund site information. Okay, so if you come over to, can you see? No, you guys can't see this, but it's www.epa.gov/Superfund. And let me see if I can put this in the chat. I might be able to. It's going to post on all of them so everybody can get it. Oh, posted from, okay, I see what it's doing. All right, it's posting the link that I'm using right now. So, looks like, what is a Superfund site? Sites where you live. Okay. We want to go with Indiana. Go. Let's see. No, what's that one? Indiana. Go. Okay. Search 4601. No, let's not do that. Yeah, because it's only going to show one. Anderson. Did they change it? So now it's only showing one. Ooh, I swear. They do that stuff all the time. National priority. Okay. We can't make our stuff up, folks. I'm going to pull something up. Madison County. So it looks like the EPA or somebody's been playing with their website. So I'm going to go over to the group. So this is where we try to keep a lot of our information on Facebook. So where I would actually tell you, I would demand that the city to help you test your ground because of the location where you're at, Teresa, is what I would do. And I agree with Karen. We're mad as hell and we're not going to take it anymore. You made me look at the clock so that I could see if I was intruding on Bilbrey time or not. So I still got an hour. So not that I'm going to talk the whole time, because I didn't plan on being in here, on here all night. I just wanted to touch base with putting videos together with actual factual information other than just looking at all these different things we've gathered. So this is one of the groups on Facebook. We also have a website that can take you to this stuff. Ooh, I haven't even joined from this account yet. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Let me see. Media. Albums. Okay, I didn't make this information up either, guys. Are you not going to let me see? Okay, there we go. I was like, don't tell me I can't get into my stuff, man. I was going to get upset. Okay, so this is what we found last time. Okay, so I don't remember what I put in there, but it gave us everything the last time I looked. So why it only showed one tells me they know we're on to them. Let me see, where did it go? Okay, not that site. See, this is what happens when you get too many clicks open. You're lucky I lost it. Maybe. Yeah. I think I clicked out of it too quick. All right. Moving along. Delco, Group 3, Superfund site. Okay. Let's go over here. than this one. So I was showing people this one the other night. So this is a good way to check your stuff. If I think it's in Indiana, or no, it's the Echo website. So you should be able to check your area. Okay. Don't tell me it's not going to pop up today. Ooh, you guys. None of it's wanting to work right now. How rude. Are you good? Okay. Let's go to this one. Okay, so something I was learning about earlier, and I did play that clip, Do You Live Near a Superfund site from the National Geographic. I thought that was a nice little clip. So if you didn't get to see that, you might want to scroll back to the beginning and watch a couple of those videos. Wait. I'm trying to read these questions. Hold on. Okay, so this is where that comes from, because I thought about that the other day. Like, it's not necessarily okay. Let me read this, because this is the best explanation, and it comes straight from the EPA website. What is a Superfund? Thousands of contaminated sites exist nationally due to hazardous waste becoming dumped, left out in the open, or otherwise improperly managed. These sites include manufacturing facilities, processing plants, landfills, and mining sites. In the late 1970s, toxic waste dumps such as Love Canal and Valley of the Drums received national attention when the public learned about the risk to human health and the environment posed by contaminated sites. In response, Congress established a comprehensive environmental response compensation and liability act. And for short, the acronym they use a lot is CERCLA. And that was established in 1980. So the CERCLA is informally called Superfund. It allows the EPA to clean up contaminated sites. It also forces the parties responsible for the contamination to either perform cleanups or reimburse the government for EPA-led cleanup work. So I think that's what they were alluding to in the Anderson Redevelopment Commission, but there was a lot of confusion because I don't think that Plant 7 has anything to do with the fish kill, but it may be part of the CSO issue because they're different CSOs, but they're both contaminating water somehow, or contaminating an area. So what's that? Check and demand corrections, find indictments. See, we're trying to point things out. Maladministration, overflow, overload. We've kind of thought the same on some things because we feel like that the city of Anderson, and I think that was what Bree was pointing out the other day when she popped on for a few minutes, was that in 2018, when the Superfund site idea came forward, the mayor, Broderick, didn't like the idea. And so because they kind of bucked, and then now we've wound up spending a lot of extra money. And at the end of the day, in my personal opinion, I think the Anderson wastewater treatment plant is still contributing to some of our issues, and they just don't want to admit it. Because if you look at what I was trying to pull up right now, and it's not working for me. So let me see. Resubmit this form. This was working just fine on Sunday. Now Tuesday, it's not working again. or it's not working. This has happened before. Okay, you know what? That's why when electronics websites mess with you, make sure you have the links to it. Kind of, that's what they're like. They're trying to pretend like they don't know who's doing what, but I think they know. Okay, so let me find a good link that I have saved to the facility reports. Superfund. It's a PDF. Oh. Let's see what this does for me. Okay. See, I just backdoored whatever I was looking at a minute ago that didn't show anything. So Amacore. Yeah. Play around with your websites. Surplus site information. Same website I was on a minute ago. Go back to the main. Okay. Okay. Let's try this one. This one looks familiar. Can you see? Okay. Let me put that up there. And yep. Yep. That's what I think, Karen. Okay. Let's see what it does for me here. There, I get 3. So they have been playing around with their site. Okay, so let's see what else we can get into. I wanted to do a facility report, but that website was playing. Maybe they know we're doing these podcasts and they watched it. I tend to get stuff fixed accidentally, you know. I got a lot of links over here. Okay, here's a water quality report. Nope. Still have 2024. You see that? I've been waiting for 2025. Let's see if you can, okay, share this one instead. Let me take that comment down. Oh, I see what you're saying. That right there was a quote from one of the pages. That was a quote from Document Shown. Okay. Okay. Well, I want to point out here. So this is Anderson Utility Report. This is the annual drinking water report. Okay. 2024. They look for coliform, E. coli, lead, fluoride. Can you see that? Okay. Okay. No. We got lead, barium, fluoride, nitrate, gross alpha, gross beta, radium. Okay, something I learned through this is the chlorine has byproducts that are also cancer causing. So the people that complain about having the chlorine smells when the water, I would be very careful when drinking that or bathing in it because of how strong the chlorine would have to be to smell in your home. Now, this is the good stuff. I don't remember those zeros being there before, but this is the chlorine byproducts or the precursors. So TTHMs can cause cancer, cancer causing, cancer causing, cancer causing. That's at East 53rd Street. That's at State Road 67, Baxter Road, Enterprise Drive, TTHM. HAA5 is also a cancer causing agent. That's also at Enterprise Drive, Baxter Road, State Road. Well, that's what a lot of people are saying. If you're referencing people getting sick from water, that's what a lot of people are concerned about, environmental contamination, and they're getting sick from it. I don't want to mention any names. I'll let them come out in time and tell their stories. I haven't asked them if I can talk about it yet. So I did all that though. The HAA5s did down here to the PFAS level. You know what? While we're here, I am going to pull up something on my other website. Maybe. So just look at that real quick. And then I'm going to put a video clip on of Neil McKee talking about the PFAS. Because I mentioned PFAS this round. So let me show this. So this is my heads up page. This is my initial one that I started. So I got a lot of good stuff over here. The vlogs from walking on the river. That's over by the Wheeler plant. Okay, here's a good, that's right there, the Killbuck Creek, Ranny Wells 4 and 5. But what I want is, see, that is that's Ranny 5, and algae growing out of Ranny 5. So I got good footage, but I'm wanting something different. So it's not popping up. So let me switch. Okay, now you get to see behind the scenes of the channel, because I'm not going to take you off my screen just to go find something. All right, let's see. Is it even, it's not even showing you, but oh, there you go. Okay. Let's do 20. Oh, 24. PFAS. There it is. I'm not going to hit you with the hour-long video. Okay. I will do, let's see if this is it. Yep, this is it. Let me share this instead. So this is actually one of my shorts. So I'll play this and I'll come right back.
Year or 2 years is we also tested high for what's called forever chemicals. You've seen that in the news. PFAS, PFOS. It's a very long chemical name for both of those, but what it boils down to is those contaminants. For us, it's like Teflon on skillets, fire foam used to fight fires. Those are the two most common ones that we'll see. But we have tested above the action level in 4 of our wells at the Wheeler plant. So we're going to be required in the next 5 years to either treat for those or move completely out of the plant.
Before that kicks back on, stop sharing that one. Okay. Now, what do I want to show you guys? Okay, so back to that water report. Let's go back here. Water report, share. Okay. So back to the PFAS. This is not good chemical. Okay. So the Wheeler plant was testing at 2.06. Okay, PFAS, PFOS. Well, I got a video of a guy singing about PFAS and DuPont. So you can YouTube that, DuPont. They made the forever chemicals back in the early 1900s. What was that, Aaron? 1940s? Oh, yeah. Did you see that? There was a little bit of fluoride in there. That was up here. I saw that a minute ago, too. But sometimes they try to say that it's not high enough to do anything to us. But right there's that. 1930s, Aaron said. Maybe 1940s. You know what? They tell us that they're doing stuff. Oh, they're trying to build a new water, because you said you're not from here. They're trying to build a new water facility on the south side of Anderson to help with the problem. But the issue is that the problem isn't getting solved, really. And then we have issues like this, where I want to know what's in our water 2025. We're already in 2026. And I could have swore these reports were put out at a relatively, timely manner. And I was told in January, February that they were going to put the 2025s up. And here it is, March 2026, and I still haven't seen anything. Let's see, states starting to end fluoride and H2O, they say. No trust. Well, I don't know about that, because we got problems all over the place. Too much to hide. Yeah. So let me go back over here to this one. This is the 90 pager that I reference a lot when I'm in the meetings talking to the elected officials and appointed officials. So if you look at like this one, what this map say it was: Broadway Street Corridor groundwater contamination, Anderson, Madison County, Indiana. Ranny 1 through 4 or 5. Okay, no, this is Ranny 1, 4-mile radius. Okay, so this is putting it, this guy, and its contaminant or polluter could be within this radius. That's a big area. And then when you add, okay, see, Plume 7 could be in here by now somewhere. I don't even like thinking about where this plume's at. I've been looking for the map to show me the plumes all day. I think I had it and showed you guys, but it doesn't necessarily say that's what we're looking at. So what's this one? This one is Ranny 5. Ranny 5 has definitely got something going on with it. And Plume or Plant 7 is would have been right in here. The Plume somewhere in here. Still in a residential area. I don't know. I want them to tell me exactly where they're at. But I have a feeling they're in some of this documentation that I have. I just haven't found it yet. So, okay, moving right along. I'll show you this website. This is another good one to check your water, especially if you're going on vacation somewhere and doing anything outdoors with kids or just on your own hiking. Talks about, don't eat the fish, not a good place to swim. So this was one we were talking about. I mentioned this one to DNR a few weeks ago. So this right here, it would be when it pops up. Hold on. It's getting us the details. Okay, I'm going to take down some of my pages because that could be why it's taking too long to load on some of these. Yeah, there we go. Okay, we'll close you too and close you. Okay, so this right here is our MPL site. So let's choose this one. Yes. These websites are being fickle. I should have just left it on that other one. Okay, let me take a couple more of these down. Okay. All right. So you can see here, this is the White River. And calls it a watershed. White River State Water Body. Let me see. Okay. Okay. And okay, see here. Fish, shellfish consumption impaired. Swimming and boating impaired. What do you mean impaired? You know, what do you mean? And then let's go out, go back out so you can see the side. Ah, you slimy suckers, you. Information is unavailable. Imagine that. I'm telling you, this happens to me every time. They know we're on to them. So all my in 2 days, nothing's working now. Come on, you guys suck. Okay, here we go. Drinking water condition unknown. What do you mean? Now, come on now. You, come on. Condition unknown. So this is right here. This is Kilbuck. This area right in here, the National Priority Superfund site. And it says condition unknown. Well, I think you need to speed up the process, EPA, item, DNR, aquatic life, good. Okay. Fish, shellfish consumption impaired. Swimming and boating impaired. I'm not liking that. Like when I can go on these big websites, which one's this one? This is an EPA, how's my waterways? Just www.how's my waterways. So to pull that up, okay, bacteria, identified issues. What name? All of them, they're too big for me to pronounce sometimes. It's kind of funny when I try to pronounce stuff. And I'm a little, I was raised by hillbillies, so I speak fluent hillbilly, and sometimes my grammar is not very good. I do know tech support, guru, social media stuff, anything electronics I'm really good with, but grammar is not my strong suit. So, sorry. But I do speak basic English, so that at least helps me survive. But for some reason, this website's not wanting to cooperate with us. So that's like three of them. Yeah, the Kilbuck one too. So it wouldn't let me load in. Let me see if it'll do it now. So it's a different angle. Let me take it off here. Oh, come on. See, this is playing with me, you guys. Okay, there we go. Moon Branch, Killbuck. Okay. Water body impaired. Issues identified. So you know why? If you go to that location right now, well, one, you wouldn't be able to see it because the sun, it's dark outside. So you have to take a flashlight. So you wouldn't be able to see it that well, but I wouldn't recommend putting any body parts in it. So it's identified as something. Drinking water conditions unknown. I definitely would not be drinking the water right there in that location by Frisch's Big Boy. I wouldn't even be taking a bath in there. Aquatic. I don't see how you can say that the aquatic life is good if it has PCBs in it, and the fish, it's the same thing. Aquatic life, fish and shellfish consumption. It looked horrible out there. And this location right here, I have it on my website, my YouTube channel, Heads Up. So it'd be like www.youtube.com/@heads up46016. You can find a bunch of my videos of that. So let's go to this other part. So this is the downstream towards Perkinsville and the anchor parks. It's impaired. So I was telling well, so far we kind of, the EPA's been on our side kind of, because I'm hearing the different reports from the like Anderson Redevelopment Commission. So they're moving and they're pushing them to do stuff, but at the same time, I don't feel like enough is being done, because there should be signs in these locations that tell us that the water's impaired. I mean, not everybody has access to the internet. Not everybody, and these areas, I used to play in this water, and so it bothers me a lot that now I'm learning that there's like I used to catch crawdads with my kids in this water. Like that was one of the things we did. That's how we do our bonding, and it was right down here in Edgewater. And I'm learning now that that's one of the biggest overflows along the river, because it's the AU stuff's coming in there. It's historically known for flooding. So it was kind of cool. We found the anchor parks down here. So speaking of anchor parks, let's see. So here is the water treatment plant. Let's see what it says. Right? No, that's Rabel. It's right here. What's it say? Town of Perkinsville. Impaired. So I think Madison County, one of the things that I would want to do in Madison County to change if I get elected in is definitely take care of our environment and get our environment cleaned up so that we can actually get out and do things without having to worry about coming in contact with an environmental contaminant. I mean, there's always that risk, but now that I know that it's there, I feel like it's an even double risk to put yourself in it. And I'm going to still go out and collect. That's a good question. There's several things right there. I think it's the sewage plant mainly is the one that's on the river. I don't know what all that one does, actually. So I'll have to look into that again, because I do know that the Anderson wastewater treatment plant used to be formerly known as the Anderson Sewage and Sludge, and it was on the Superfund site list, which is not working for me today, or I would have showed you. So I know they're playing around in the website and taking stuff out so that we can't find it. And I have screenshots. I found stuff already. Okay, so with the Anchor Park, downstream from that, that's just the dumbest idea ever. Oh, I know. So one of the things I found today when I was looking, I'm going to go ahead share this tab. So here was the list. Let's see if I can get it to go. That's one of the ones I found already. And this is Madison County wide. Okay, 1 through 42. Some of them are active, some of them are inactive. But as you saw earlier in the video, that website was not working for me. But I did find a new map today that's not up here. But if you guys want to go to the Madison County Water Watch group, you can find these. Okay, there's, yeah, 1 through 42, 1 through 40. So I have, okay, that's not what I wanted. One of the things I think is important is knowing, oh, the EPA slideshow's in there. So this is a good one to go click on. This is what they came and gave a slideshow presentation on. This one here's good too. Testimony from the water rate hikes, and it says some stuff they did not actually agree with the water. Okay, here's a good map. This is where they're going to put the new water plant down here along Scatterfield, which I feel like that's just going to have a bunch of problems. And I feel like they should have focused on Wheeler, fixed all that so that the middle of the city's not messed up. Yeah, you could check. I think you can look on that EPA website, Karen, and it should be able to tell you something about whatever's close to you. Because I think there's some stuff down there, like in the swampy areas, that I'd be taking a look at. But the one I wanted to show you was, okay, here's a good one. This is the guy that when we had the EPA meeting, he's the item guy. So if Teresa's still watching, Matt Prater, have him come test your water. See if he'll come test it for you. And then he might be able to help figure out the ground if you want to get the ground tested. And if I don't hear back from you on this feed, then I will send you that link here soon. So, okay. My nose is getting stuffy, guys. Sorry about that. Okay, so in this, I kind of mapped them with the Google Maps. Test Etchison has really good information on Alec, which is the second Sycamore Street, Riverbend Park. That's the EPA Town Hall. Just screenshots from that. This is the excerpt I was talking about with Greg Winkler when he was saying they don't know what's in the water. I'm like, where do you want me to quote from? The 500 pager or the 90 pager? So this tells us right here that the 3 Ranny wells have been contaminated primarily with trichloroethylene. And so TCE, PCE, DCE, vinyl chloride. That was the VC on that map that we talked about earlier. Contaminated groundwater from Ranny municipal wells. So sorry, folks. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. But we got some messed up water here. And your location, and depending on your location, depends on what you're dealing with. So Let's see. Getting messages. So sorry. I'm not going to. Okay. This was sent to us 113 potential sources, but then they try to tell us take these off the list. But I'm like, no, I'm not taking them off the list. Why would we take them off the list if they could potentially help us clean up whatever's messing the environment up, right? So that's as far as I can get. But I have this. You can look at this documentation in the Water Watch group. Okay, let's see. This says 119. So this is concerning. We should all be concerned about what's going on with our environment. Yeah, that's what I was going to tell you. Sometimes it shows up with zip code. So the other little kicker on that too is that if you type in your city, it might show up one thing. And I think it depends on who inputs the information into the computer. So if they don't put the right zip code, it shows up like if your area has 3 different zip codes it goes by, then each little site may be attached to that zip code. Because I didn't find the interceptor by typing in Anderson, Indiana. I just happened to stumble across it when I typed in our area code. So, okay, so that's a good, that tells you some, I don't know if that'll ever come into play. Right, Karen. That's why I wanted to run for office. Okay. You're welcome. Okay, so the one I was trying to get to was the filters. And here's the other thing. Somebody asked me the other day, yeah, Florida may be in better shape than Indiana just because of the geographical location. But, you know, somebody was asking me the other day if I, you know, what was my end goal for all this. And it keeps changing because, like, at first, you know, I thought we could do this, but then you find out you can't. And so really at the end of the day, just raising the awareness for people, I think, is a big one for me. Because my mom did die in 2024, right around the same time that I found out that we had the PFAS in our water. So, and it was high levels at that time, and she drank city water. So here are some of the things that you can find in water. So that's why the IDOH, Indiana Department of Health Laboratory Water Testing Kits. Oh yeah, I think you can get the Indiana Health Department to come. If you can't get the one from Anderson or Madison County to do anything, then call the state. I think that's what Dory did the other day. But we're so past where we're at in our active, you know, advocacy and stuff. It's so past that. So we're stuck on trying to get the site cleaned up, and we don't, you know, like at the end of the day, I don't know if justice will ever be served, because how can you look at somebody that's been sick for a majority of their life, or they know that this environmental toxin possibly made them sick, and, you know, like we're not going to be able, I don't think there's any number. It's like you can't put a number on it, taking somebody's health away from them. We are downhill from everyone. Pretty much. Somebody's always downhill from someone. Yeah, that's why it's even really hard when you go into the city, any cities, to drink, you know, because they use the ice. They use the water to make their ice in some places, you know, so. Okay. So these are just a couple. And I don't know how many pages, but it tells you exactly. And then, like, I noticed all these things that connected with my mom. So that's why the things are highlighted in here. But, I mean, that's liver problems. Liver. My mom died of liver. Her liver started failing on her. Then she developed some rare cancer in the last days, and she had a procedure that I think was botched. And that's the other thing you got to do is ask before getting water, because if their water is contaminated in that area and they put the ice in your cup, you're still getting it whether you want it or not. So, okay, here was some good one. I mean, just check out the group. Lots of photos in there that you guys can snag for your own self. Good photos about the river, because I'm tracking. This is the Aaron Brockovich video or information. We screenshotted it in case anything ever gets shut down. We have information. Let's see. I'm almost done. I know I've talked forever, but this is a tricky subject. This is the one I found today, and you can't really see it. I'm going to try to zoom in as close as I can. But notice, what's that say right there? Can everybody read it? Karen says, that's probably why I drink more beers. That's hilarious. Probably. You almost got to be careful with the beers these days, because you don't know where they're growing their barley, or whatever it is that they make the beer with. So, okay, so here is the Superfund site. Oh, you can't even see my arrow. Okay. Weird. All right, so basically, Randy 5, that's a 15-mile surface water pathway from the MPL site to Perkinsville. So 15 miles. So that's not good, you guys. So we really don't know. I mean, the MPL's a hot spot still. They're not going to do anything for it for the next 2 to 4 years. So, I mean, at this point, I don't think we'll ever see justice on some of this. And I just raise an awareness and people telling their stories. And individually, if you're a person who has been affected by environmental contaminants, okay, if you're one of those people and you want some help, I know a guy that knows a guy that knows a guy, and we can get you some legal advice on how to proceed, but we need your medical records and a little bit of history and go from there. So, yeah, just reach out to us. If you have any questions, I'm always open. I can send you all my links. And we will be on tomorrow night at 7. We'll be talking about what are we going to talk about tomorrow? Oh, it's really good. Tomorrow's going to be really good too. I mean, every day is going to be really good. Thursday, we have a town hall. We're going to be going live on Thursday at probably, what time is the town hall? I think it starts at 5. Town hall starts at 5. And then there's another event somewhere. Oh, the tea party's Thursday. So, we're gonna go live from the library for about an hour, and then we're going to go from the library carpool over to the tea party event and ask questions of a couple of the. We're gonna ask questions from a couple of the people that are going to be there. I think it's John Beeman, Linda Smith, and maybe Gardner, I think. So that should be a fun evening. And so that's Thursday. So just stay tuned. If you follow one of our pages, heads up, Catherine, 2 Chics. Catherine will be on tomorrow with me. She wasn't able to make it again tonight, but it's still all relevant information to her district, my district, and what we're trying to accomplish. So, and that's just accountability, transparency, whether we win or lose, we're not going anywhere. And the next few months. So yeah, so check us out on Facebook and YouTube. We're there. I'm going to end the show with a commercial for the next episode. So we're going to be talking about catfishing campaigns and crazy brains. And so with that, I'm going to end with this. And so it's about 1:30, but really it's just the song sounded pretty cool. And this is what I'll start with tomorrow. So you guys have a good evening. And thank you for tuning in, and some of you for staying with me that long. I hope you learned something. Shalom.
On this
crazy brain.
off the rails on this crazy brain.
I'm going off the rails
On this
crazy brain.
going off the rails on this crazy brain. I am going off the rails on this crazy brain.